everybody, it's Amy Astro here and welcome back to my channel. Lately, I have Observatory just taking over my brain. It's all I can think about. It's all I want to do. It's all I want to accomplish is to have an observatory here in my own yard. But lately, I have been battling the heat, battling the clouds as you can see, and I have been battling my county. So, you want to see what I'm up to? Hang on. So lately I have had nothing but observatory on the brain. And I mean, it has just consumed my whole life. I am one of those people that when I get an idea in my head and I really, really want it, I make it happen. It's just what I do. It's one of my traits. And guys, I just really want an observatory. I really want something that I can call my own space and put a couple telescopes in, and on a whim in the middle of the night I wake up and I see that it's clear skies, that I could go outside and image if I wanted without the whole 2-hour setup and stuff. But that was just part of my battle. The other part was I needed to decide what type of observatory did I want. Did I want a dome? Did I want a sky shed pod? Did I want a pre-manufactured building? Did I want a roll-off roof? Well, yes, I wanted a roll-off roof. And the reasons were the domes. I was looking at the domes as being a turnkey situation, which were just really cool because I could completely automate it, sit inside my house, it will open and close the doors, it would rotate, do everything. But what it wouldn't do was allow me expansion in the future. It was limiting me to one telescope setup. And I kind of wanted to have 2 or 3 telescope setups. So that kind of pushed out the idea of no dome and no sky shed pod. Now, I did look at buying pre-manufactured buildings and cutting the roof off and turning it into an observatory, but the sizes I was very limited on because they're pre-manufactured, they're delivered to your house, they're a max of 12 feet wide and about 14 feet long. And that's just the limit of what they can travel with on the road. That really kind of not what I wanted. So what I ended up doing was I went out to Deerlick Astronomy Village and I looked at everybody's observatories and was kind of trying to decide what I wanted. And I knew that ultimately what I wanted for my telescope area was 16 by 16. That would give me space for 4 piers. Now, am I ever going to get to 4 piers? Gosh, I hope not, because I would be broke and possibly divorced. But I wanted the space. I wanted the elbow room. So that's kind of where I was starting. Now, the next step was I had to find out what were the rules and regulations to be able to build something like this on my property. Well, I called my local government, my city council here, and they came back and said, we don't care what you do because you're technically outside the city limits by about a mile. Okay, they told me to call the county. So I turned around and I called the county and I said, what are the rules for building on my property? And they came back and told me 200 square feet or less, we don't care about, build away. But as soon as you add electrical to the build, then you need a permit. Well, I knew I was already going to be above 200 square feet and I was definitely getting power to the building. So that meant I needed a permit. So then I turned around and I asked the young lady and I was like, so what does it take for me to get a permit? And she said, well, first you need a set of plans. And I was like, well, how complicated do the plans need to be? And she said, well, most people just, for a shed type thing, is they write down an 8.5 by 11, just basic dimensions of the building itself. They write up a scope of work. They send us a picture of their plot plan and show us where the building's going to be on the property, and they send that to us with our application. We will either approve it, which then it'll cost you $50, or we will deny it and you will have to start over again. I was like, great. So I know AutoCAD. I took it one step further and I decided that I was going to draw in AutoCAD an isometric version of my building. It looked beautiful, it really did. It was an isometric view of the building with the top on and the top off. I wrote a scope of work saying how I was going to roll the roof on and off using garage door rails and all that. And I sent them a picture of my plot plan with where I was going to put the building, how far off from the neighbors and the street and all that I was. Okay, and I sent all of that to her. Well, she turned around and came back and said, okay, so in the package I sent you, you also need to file for a land disturbance permit. Okay, so now I need 3 permits: land disturbance, electrical, and building. Well, believe it or not, land disturbance was about the easiest one for me to get. That is where I'm going to do some grading on my property. And any water runoff that happens because of that grading and dirt, it has to land all on my property and not flow onto my neighbor's property, which is understandable. We don't want to shift water to our neighbor because that would make a very unhappy neighbor. And believe it or not, that permit was the easiest to get. I had that one within a day, free. I like that. Easy. What was not easy was the building permit. Oh my gosh, they immediately denied me. Denied. Why? They did not like the garage door rail idea. They didn't think it was secure enough. I didn't give them enough information on how I was going to latch down the building and all of these things, and they just wanted more information. I kind of get that. Okay. Well, now I'm trying to figure out, well, how do I give them more information? So I went out to the internet. I was like, well, maybe I should just buy a set of plans. So I purchased the Sky Shed plans. And they're nice plans. They work. But they also, they use the garage door rail setup. And they supply drawings in a 3D model that you print out. I turn mine into PDFs. And then they send you a whole bunch of pictures of how they did everything. And between the pictures and the plans, you can get a really good idea of how they did this. So I took their plans as a PDF and took the pictures, and I put the pictures on the plan so it described each step. And I asked the permits office, will you accept something that looks like this? And they said yes, they would. If I had a professional structural engineer licensed in the state of Georgia buy off on them. Great. I now need an engineer to do all this. Okay, well, the good news is that I work with one. The great news is he was willing to help me create the package that I needed to get approved. The bad news was he also did not like the garage door rail setup because that's not what they were intended to. Structurally, they're not really sound enough what if I got a gust of wind. And I have found out here, without as many trees around, I do get pretty good wind out here, which was surprising. So now I'm back to the drawing board. Where do I start? I can't use the Sky Shed palette plans, so I went out to the internet, did some more surfing, and I went to the Backyard Observatory. And I purchased their plans. I purchased their 16 by 24 roll-off roof club plan. And they sent me 2 24 by 36 drawings with all the details and the information I needed to build my building. They didn't have a material list, so I had to come up with that on my own. And when I decided I got them, and I was trying to build this in my head, I didn't feel like I had all the information to make everything happen. So I took these drawings and I redrew them in AutoCAD. And I redrew every single step, every corner of the building and everything until I understood where I needed a 2x6, a 2x8, a 2x4. And in my head, I can build this building. No problem at all. And by the time I was said and done working with the structural engineer, I had almost 10 drawings in my package. I have concrete grading, I have the elevations, the roof plan, the electrical plan. I've got it all. It's a full set with details. And I am so proud of these drawings that I created. And they were very easy for me to get a bill of material off of. So I sent them back to my structural engineer. He looks at them. He spends a couple days on them, and he adds a bunch of notes. Now these notes were great because they were things that were like city ordinances and things that I had to follow to stay within code, and they just really make the drawings look professional all around. Very happy with that. So I draft up his comments, get them all looking great, reapply my application, everything to the county, and I wait. And I wait even longer. And after about 3 days, I was really beginning to stress, because I submitted them on a Monday, and on a Wednesday I still hadn't heard anything. So I called them up. I was like, have you guys had a chance to review my drawings? And they said, oh, Miss Little, we're just now getting to them. Let me call you back in about an hour. And the guy came back and he says, I'm going to be honest with you, that was some of the best drawings I have seen. You convinced me that this building will be safe. It's going to be great. I want to come see it when you're done. And yeah, you're approved. No problem. Mail in your $50. All right, $50. I have a building permit. And they gave me this nice yellow card. I was so proud of this yellow card. And on it, it tells me the land disturbance permit, the building permit, the electrical permit, and everything that I needed to do. And I was looking at this and it says electrical permit required. I thought I was getting that as part of this package because I sent in my electrical drawings. Turns out I had to, they didn't even have to look at anything. That's what just kills me. I called them up. They said, yeah, that'll be $55. So $105 in, I now have the 3 permits required to get this building going. Not to mention the money that I spent getting the sky shed pod plans and the backyard observatory plans. So all in there is about $180 to get that to happen. So that's where I'm at right now with my budget. I purchased plans, I purchased permits, and I'm ready to get started. So y'all hang on because this is gonna happen fast. I'm gonna get this building up. And oh, by the way, you may be wanting to know, who's gonna do the building? I'm gonna do the building. My father and I are going to team up, and I'm sure I'm gonna wrangle in some of my family members to help me, but I wanted it, I'm gonna build it, I'm gonna make it happen. And this build is going to be a blend of sky shed, backyard observatory, Deerlick Astronomy with a dash of Amy all in it. And this is gonna be a unique build, and I'm really excited to get it started. So guys, hang out with me a little bit longer. I'll show you how everything's gonna go together and follow this journey with me. But don't forget guys, like, subscribe, share these videos with all of your Astro friends. I love having all of y'all join me. I love all the comments, the suggestions. You guys have sent me some great emails, some great pictures of your observatories, and I've taken all of that stuff in consideration with what I'm going to do. So I'm wishing you guys some great health, clear skies, and I love each and every one of y'all. Goodbye, y'all.